everyone, in this video we are going to take a look at labels within Gmail. Now labels are most similar to folders, but they do work a little bit differently, and so you'll want to get these tips so that you can move forward organizing your Gmail account. I'm going to start with the simplest way to use labels and then get into a little bit more detail, so feel free to stop this video when you've reached your max or you've gotten the information that you need to know. To get started, we're first going to create our first label. We're going to scroll down on the left-hand side underneath the inbox until you locate more. Click the little drop down for more, scroll down further and choose Create New Label. We're going to give this a name, remembering that labels are kind of like folders, and choose if we want to nest it underneath something. Nesting is when you put a label inside of another label or underneath a label. It helps with organization. It's kind of like putting a folder inside of a folder. If you don't want to nest the label underneath anything, you simply click Create and you are ready to go with this new label. Once we have our new label, we're going to go ahead and move an email or apply a label to a specific email. To get started, there's a couple of different ways to approach this. You can checkbox the email or emails that you want to apply this label to, click the label button at the top, choose the label from the list, and hit apply. You'll notice when I click the label list again, I can actually apply more than one label to an email. That's what makes labels a little bit different than folders. You also can apply labels to a specific email by right-clicking on the email and choosing to label as, opening the email and choosing the label button at the top, or lastly, dragging the email to that specific label. Now, I want you to be aware of the multiple labels that an email has. I can see that this email, when I open it, it lives in my inbox and the new label folder. If I no longer want it to live in the inbox, I can click the X right here. Now, I no longer see that email in my inbox and it's just inside the new label folder. I do have these handy little tags here that help me understand where this email is at. So I can see that this email is inside the new label folder and it's also in the inbox due to this tag. Now that we've taken a look at adding labels to specific emails, we're going to dig a little bit more into the settings available for a label. We're going to click the three dots on the right-hand side of the label that appear when you hover over it. You have the ability to change the color of a label to make it easily recognizable and stand out. You have the ability to change how you want to see this label in the label list. Now, what is the label list? This right here on the left-hand side is the label list. If you choose to hide it, that label is going to hide underneath more, and you're going to have to click more in order to make it pop out. You do have the ability to show if on read, and that would make the label move up to the top only if there's unread messages in that label. Now, that can be very beneficial if you're working with filters and you filter emails in a certain way to label them as they come in. I'm going to talk about filters in another video. You also have the ability to show that label in the message list or hide it completely in the message list. And that has to do with the message list that you see right here. Lastly, we can edit, remove, or add a sublabel at any time with the click of a button. If you want to dig deeper into labels, you're going to want to go to Manage Labels. You can get there on the left-hand side, or you can click Settings, See All Settings, and choose Labels at the top. Now, Gmail comes with a lot of pre-populated labels that can be very beneficial, but sometimes annoying. So you have the ability to hide any of these labels that Gmail is setting up from the beginning that you don't want to see all the time. While I love to be able to find my drafts and go back to my trash, I don't necessarily need all of these special category labels available. I can also show or hide these in the message list to clean up my message list if I so choose. At the bottom, this is your label organization system. So all the features that we talked about here, where we can create the new label, hover over and get the three dots, This is kind of the one-stop shop to see all of those features for all of the labels that you have at once. You can also quickly see how many conversations are in a label. Some users may find it beneficial to build their system ahead of time and then come in here and toggle on and off settings until they find what they like.